Welcome to CryptoWise, a couple of wise guys talking crypto. Hello, CryptoWisers. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Milton, and I will be your captain for this episode. Over the last several weeks, I have been making videos on individual projects that I really like, and I thought it was time to go back over some of these projects, have a look at some charts. That's right, CryptoWisers. We're actually going to be looking at some charts today on CryptoWise. Now, since a few weeks have passed since I've talked about some of these projects, I thought it'd be a good idea to look at where they stand now and let you in on whether I am hodling or selling. So we'll have a look at 5 different projects today. We'll start with Orion Protocol. We'll look at Elrond, Orion Protocol, Swingby, and we'll look at Terra Virtua now that the token has launched. So buckle in, kids. This should be another exciting episode of CryptoWise. But before we have a look at those other coins, we might as well take a little peek at the king of crypto, Bitcoin. Now, Milty hodls his Bitcoin, so I don't actually look at the chart all that much. I don't trade Bitcoin. My goal is to accumulate as much Bitcoin as I can, which means buying a little bit of Bitcoin every time it dips. That's Milty's strategy with Bitcoin, but it's always good to keep track of what the king is doing, so let's have a look. This is the daily chart here, and it's nice to see that after a pretty good dip here from 19.3, it went all the way down. It touched 17.5, not very long, but it did go all the way down under 18,000, so it's nice to see a nice recovery here. Ultimately, what I'd love to see with Bitcoin is it stay in this range, this 18, 19, even 18 to 20 range. I would love to see it create a lot of support in this area and give some time for the alts to start pumping. So just so that you guys know, I am not a TA guy. I'm not a TA expert. I know how to read the charts. I do a little bit. I do listen to a lot of the TA guys, but it is not my expertise. I am definitely more of a fundamentals guy. I like looking into the projects, and I usually invest more from a fundamental standpoint. But the 2 indicators that I look for on the charts, I try to keep it really simple. The 2 main ones here are the 20-day moving average. Now that's different than a lot of people, but I tend to like looking at the 20-day, and the RSI, which is down here, which just generally tells you if it's being overbought or oversold. So this is the daily chart for Bitcoin. I much prefer looking at the weekly chart. And here we can see it's still very high in the RSI, and that we are still way above the 20-week moving average. Now, again, I'm not a TA guy, but if I had to guess, I would guess that if it was going to move either up or down, that it would probably start moving closer to the 20-day moving average. That's why I would love to see consolidation in this area so the 20-day could start catching up to it, and we could create maybe a new low here at 18,000 and really make that support so that when we do go parabolic with Bitcoin and it comes back down, we got support here at around 18. That to me would be fantastic. But all in all, I think the chart looks great. I'm not too worried. I think Bitcoin has great momentum. I'm not expecting a huge correction anytime soon, but if it happens, I'll be ready to buy that dip. Okay, the first alt we're going to look at is Orion Protocol. I made this video a month ago now. And if you haven't watched my deep dive into Orion Protocol, I suggest you do that now, and you can do that by clicking right here. So let's have a look at the Orion chart. This is the Orion Tether chart from Binance. This is the one I like to look at, but it doesn't have a ton of information as the coin only launched in August on Binance. But as we can see here, if I remember correctly, when I made the video, I think Orion was maybe in the 48-cent range. It definitely has not been super bullish since I made that video. I do remember it going up over 50 for a bit, so I must have made it in this range. But since then, it has hit some lows. It's gone all the way down to 34 cents. For Orion, I think it's better for us to look at the 4 hour. That will give us some more information here. And here we can see that Ocean really was over 60 cents not that long ago. This was late November. So it's down substantially from that point. Now, with all of these alts, what I'm really looking at, let's look at the daily for a sec, is where they are compared to the high they had this summer. This summer, alt season went a little bit nuts. We saw alts go very high. A lot of them hit their all-time high. And then we saw in October, we saw lows for a lot of them. Maybe not all-time lows, but kind of their low for the last year or so. And with Ocean, we see it went all the way down under 25 cents. But the high was up. I'm not going to include this one, which was right when it launched here on Binance. But I'd say, yeah, right around here, 67-ish. So this is the new high that I'm looking for. And to be honest, out of all the alts I'm talking about today, Ocean for me is the safest bet, but it's more of a mid to long-term bet. I really have no idea what the price of Ocean is going to do in the short term, but I definitely think that these are prices that I'm happy to accumulate Ocean in. Anything under 40 cents for me is a great price to be grabbing Ocean. I really believe in this project long-term and medium-term. So I'm not too worried about it. Out of all the alts that we're talking about today, from a value standpoint, from price value, for me, Ocean is the best. But regardless, I've got some bags of Ocean and I'm just hodling. I think Ocean is going to be one for me that I just hodl for the most part, try to accumulate when I can for when the real alt season happens. I think it could be one of the top alts in this next bull run. And so Ocean for me is just a hodl. The next alt on our list that we're going to have a quick look at is Elrond. Now, again, I made the Elrond video just shortly after making Ocean, so this was about a month ago. And if you haven't watched my video on Elrond, I suggest you do that, and you can do it by clicking right here. And again, we're going to be looking at the Binance Tether chart. Now, I know a lot of people suggest that you should only look at the charts for alts versus Bitcoin. And I do look at the Bitcoin alt chart, but to be honest, I'm finding the projects that I love and I'm kind of making decisions around their own chart. So it's easier for me to do that versus Tether or another US stablecoin. I have a certain amount of my portfolio in Bitcoin. I always make sure I have that percentage of my portfolio in Bitcoin. I readjust when I need to. I kind of keep my alts separate. I don't compare them to Bitcoin. I have a certain amount of money for alts, and I'm mostly trading in and out of them, not because of what Bitcoin's doing, but because of what I think they are going to do. So that's why I like looking at the Tether chart. And this is a bit of the opposite of Ocean. When I made this video, Elrond was down at around $7. You can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I believe it was down here in the 7 range. And now it's all the way up here over 16, almost at $17. So let's look at the daily. And again, this chart is actually a very beautiful chart. As we can see here, Elrond is starting to go back to some of the highs that it had in the summer. Now, some of you may remember Elrond had a different token back here. It was the ERD token, and then they switched over to the E-Gold token. So this is the history of the E-Gold token. And it did reach highs, kind of touched. You know, this wick here is kind of deceiving, but I know I remember it being definitely in the 20s. But really, around $20 is the E-Gold high. And I feel like we're kind of coming close to that. And I'll be very curious to see what happens when we can go back to that price. I'm really liking Elrond. The more I learn about it, the more I like it. But I am a little bit worried about how well it's done in comparison to some of the other alts over the last couple of weeks. Normally around this time, I would start looking at taking out my initial investment. But I didn't invest that much into Elrond. And so I want to keep it. I'm going to hodl it. But if those of you who watched my video at around $7, if you got a big bag at that point, I would suggest maybe to take your initial investment out, because I anticipate there could be a correction. It's just unusual to see one alt do so well against all the other ones so fast without seeing a little bit of a correction. But of course, as always, this is not financial advice. I am just letting you know what Milty would do. But in my case, my bag is small enough. I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to ride it out because I really like Elrond. And when I own something, it makes me more conscious about making sure I follow it, follow the updates, follow the charts. And because I like Elrond so much, I want to make sure I have a little bit of skin in the game because I love the potential of this project. Okay, moving right along. The next coin I want to have a quick look at is Orion Protocol. I made this video 2 weeks ago, and a quick shout out to Adam Lamb, one of our CryptoWisers, because he pointed out to me that in that video I kept calling it Orion Protocol, but of course it should be pronounced Orion Protocol. So because I love the project so much, I am going to respect it by pronouncing its name right. It is Orion Protocol, regardless of the pronunciation. Though, if you have not watched my video yet on Orion Protocol, I definitely suggest you check that one out, and you can do so by clicking here. Okay, let's have a quick look at the Orion chart. And again, this is Binance, Tether, and right now we're on the one-day chart. This one I do remember. When I made the video for Orion, it was at around $2, and it shot all the way up to $4.20-ish. I know Marvin was super excited about this one because he had not bought any ORN yet until I made that video, and he's very happy that I did because it made him invest at around the $2 mark. Now, it has come back down to earth a little bit. Right now it's sitting at $2.81. Right after I made that video, they did announce that they were going to launch their mainnet on December 15. Now that's coming up in a couple of days. So I think this is a classic case of buy the rumor, sell the news. We could see some more downward pressure as the mainnet launches. I've seen that before with other projects. I don't really get it. Even if the mainnet is pretty good, you could see some downward pressure. But I'm not going to bank on that with ORN, because it has a great community behind it, and they're kind of doing a soft launch of the mainnet, which I think is going to be really smart. They're really allowing their community first in. They're probably going to get rid of a lot of the different issues and bugs that every project has when it first launches. So I don't really see a lot of sell-off happening, but as always, could be wrong. I think this project still has a lot of legs. I'm staking my ORN right now, so I'm not touching it. I'm doing the liquidity staking, which I talked about in my video. That ends, I think, actually tomorrow. But now that the mainnet is launching, you'll be able to stake on the mainnet, and that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. So sounding a bit like a broken record here, guys. But of course, these are projects that I really believe in. That's why I made those videos in the first place. So for the most part, I am hodling. I just haven't seen enough gain. Even when this went to 420 and it had, it was over double, because my staking rewards were so great, I just didn't even think about selling. I'm going to hold on here. I really think that the alts are going to have their season. I don't know exactly when it's going to happen. Might be a bit slower through, the holiday season and New Year's. Maybe it takes a few weeks into 2021 for us to see this, but you never know. It could happen in December. There's so many great things happening in December in the space. So although I am very strict about taking my initial investment out, taking some profit out, I really don't do that until minimum 3x and more like 5-6x. And if this is a true alt season and we get to finally see some more 10-20x's happening, I'll be really excited about that. But yeah, I will have taken my initial investments out long before that, and some profits if I see it at around a 5x. So with ORN, hanging tight, hodling. Moving right along, let's look at Swingby next. I made my video on Swingby a week ago now. It's my true small cap hidden gem video. If you don't know about Swingby, if you haven't watched the video, you should do that now, and you can do it by clicking here. Now, Swingby is not on Binance, so this is the Poloniex chart. when I made the video of Swingby, it was at around 3 cents. And as you can see, it has done extremely well since I put out that video. It's almost at 9 cents. It hit a recent high of just over 10 cents. So this is probably a great time to remind you guys, if you haven't subscribed to the CryptoWise yet, you really should, and make sure you hit the notification button, because we usually try to make videos about projects that have news coming out right away or upcoming. We're going to be starting to talk more about the news. So you want to make sure that you're watching our videos as soon as we put them out, just in case. Now, not all our videos, like today's video, it doesn't really matter if you're watching it right when I put it out, but some of these videos are going to be time sensitive. So make sure you hit that notification button. Because if you watched my video on Swingby and you liked it and you thought I had some good things to say and you liked the project and you thought, well, maybe I'm going to invest in this, not because Milty told me to, but because I like the project, I like what I learned about the project, I went and did some more research on it, and now I'm going to invest, make my own decision and invest, well, that would have been a good decision. You would have almost 3x'd by now. And that's not going to happen every time, but crypto moves fast, guys. And that's why I suggest that you not only subscribe to the channel, but hit that notification button. So, as I said in my past video, Swingby hit an all-time high of 60, I think around 60 cents. That was in the summer, and it plummeted more than a lot of the other alts. It went all the way down under 3 cents. So we're just kind of starting to see the recovery here. It's launching its mainnet December 28th. So a lot of time still to buy the rumor. And honestly, with this one, I don't really see a sell-off of the news. I don't see it going back down to 3 now that it's going to have an actual product out there, unless it totally sucks and they can't do what they have been claiming that they're going to do. And that's possible, but I think it's unlikely. If their bridge works, and they can bridge Bitcoin onto the Ethereum network through wrapped Bitcoin, this project just is worth way more than its market cap right now. So I'm hoping at least that this new range, the 8-9 range, is a new low for Swingby, and we just see another move up. Will it go up to 60 cents again? That I don't know. Maybe it comes up more into this kind of 16 range. Hard to tell. I could be completely wrong, but for me, this is just the first move of what I'm hoping will be a couple more legs up. I don't go into the small caps for a 2x or a 3x. The tiny small caps, if I believe that they've got some potential and I'm going to actually invest my money into them like I did with Swingby, then I'm hoping for a little bit of a greater return, because it's a huge risk, okay? Just so that you guys keep remembering this, keep this in context. Crypto is a huge investment risk. Think about it. The people in our lives, they think Bitcoin is a risk. Now, for me, Bitcoin is a no-brainer. But if to the mainstream Bitcoin is still a risk, these tiny little altcoins are a huge risk. Now, I'm all for it. I'm okay with the risk. But if I'm going to put my money in a risky asset like a Swingby, it's because I believe it has a chance to really bring a nice return back. And to me, again, that's at least a 5x for these tiny hidden small caps. Okay, not every altcoin is going to be able to 5x if they're already too big. But with Swingby, we're looking at, when I made that video, it was under a $2 million market cap. So I still think it has room to grow. HODLing. All right, guys, last but not least, we're going to be talking about Terra Virtua, which was my last video. I only made it 2 days ago. They just launched the token, as you learned from that video. If you don't know what Terra Virtua is yet, you didn't watch my video, I really recommend it. It's an awesome project, and you can watch that video by clicking right here. So before we talk about the token, the TVK token, I just want you to give me some feedback on this video. It's a much different type of video than we've done so far on CryptoWise. So please give me your feedback. Do you like getting these recaps of the tokens we've talked about? Do you like looking at the charts a bit more? Is this something we should continue to keep doing every once in a while? Or are you like Milty? This video sucked. Don't do this one again. And for people who are new to the channel, please take a moment to subscribe as always, but Also know that this video is a little bit unique, so please go back, watch some of our other videos because this one is a bit more of a different style for us. So if you really want to get to know CryptoWise, I would suggest watching some of the videos we've done on specific projects like the ones I have mentioned in this video. Okay, Terra Virtua Collect token. This token is so new that it's not even on TradingView yet. Let's have a quick look at how it did, because when I made the video, the token had not launched yet. It was launching that morning. Again, another reason to hit that notification button if you haven't already. So I watched the launch of this token on BitMax. It was supposedly had a starting price of 1 cent, but right when it launched on BitMax, it was at 4 cents. And apparently there was some premature trading happening on Uniswap of the token, which wasn't supposed to happen. And I wasn't watching there, but I know that the first trade on BitMax was already at 4 cents. So it basically jumped right when it launched. I don't know if any of you watched this, but it basically went all the way to 6 cents pretty quick. And then it started falling and falling, went down to 4 cents, but it never went under 4 cents. And then since then, it has kind of been steadily climbing and it's hit a high of just over 7 cents. And now it's kind of been finding a bit of its kind of support here in the 6 range. It's dipped a bit lower than 6, but it seems to be getting a bit of buy pressure back up to 6. So if the true public price was at 1 cent, it did a 6x right away, and then a 7x. And so now it seems to be living in the 6 cent range, which is still a 6x on what was supposedly its launch price. So just be careful there. Always have to be careful with that. You don't really know how many people got the token for 1 cent who are just sitting on huge profits that could sell at any moment. But I really believe in this project. I haven't bought in yet. Once I saw that I wasn't going to get in anywhere close to the 1 cent range, I said, you know what? I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to watch. Usually ends up being a dip. So even from 6 cents, it might end up dipping down. If it consolidates for a long time around 6, I'll be happy to buy in at 6 because I really believe in this project. I believe in its potential, but I want to make sure that it has some strength here at 6 before I buy in. But anyway, let me know, did any of you get in? I was watching BitMax right when it launched. I'm curious if any of you were as well, who were able to get in at a lower price. For me, there was no opportunity under 4, so I decided to just wait it out. Of course, I will let my CryptoWisers know if I end up getting a bag of Terra Virtua. I definitely think it's a really cool project, and apparently they have some more big partners that they're going to be announcing soon. So I'll be curious also to see what happens to the price when they announce these big mainstream partners. If you don't know what I'm talking about, again, watch the video. It's a really cool project, and if you don't know about it, you really should. All right, CryptoWisers, that's it from me for today. Today was a bit different. We had a quick look at all these charts. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you think. Obviously, I do all this research in these projects, but I do follow the charts, and I wanted to make sure that you guys had kind of an insight of what I like to do when I'm looking at the charts. If you have any more questions, let me know in the comments. Always happy to share my strategies with you CryptoWisers. All right, guys, thanks again for watching. Until next time, my name is Milton, saying over and out.